Hello, Creative New Zealand. We're just letting you get a sneak peek into class. You can say hello to the class attendees.
Hello.
Hello. Look, everyone's right side up. Oops. Now we are talking about nail eyes, and this is our inspiration that we're going to work from right now. And I'm going to click you guys up so that you can watch the nail bit. Alright. So, looking at the bird, you can see a lot of visual texture from the little green spots at the end of the feathers. So to duplicate that idea of texture, I've just done a coat of glitter and top coated it so that the glitter is protected and I can design in the surface of it. Then I'm going to take a color that contrasts to the silver. And I'm thinking something along the lines of Midnight Swim would be perfect. Yes. Midnight Swim is an amazing, like, sparkly navy. It makes me so happy. What we're going to do is carve. So you want to make sure that this coat is extremely thin. You should be able to see the sparkle of the glitter through the coat. Doesn't that look awesome? If you're not seeing the sparkle of the glitter, pull some of your shellac off or your gel polish, because you want that to be really, really thin. Okay. So it looks really cool just the way it is. We wouldn't even have to do anything else because it's like blingy, right? However, what I'd like to do is go in and get some of the texture like what's coming from the feathers. I'm going to get a couple different textures because you can see how the wings kind of gently fade down. So I'm going to get one texture with the fan brush, just kind of flicking it across the bottom here. Then I'm going to come in with the detail brush and do more specific lines. And then I'm going to come in with a stylus to get even smaller lines. So we've basically done an ombre of visual texture. Even though the color is similar, the texture travels up the nail. And when you're looking at the bird, you can kind of see how the texture travels from his head down to his back. And so we use the idea of visual texture, ombre, versus a color ombre to get a design. Something else that's really cool about the bird is the pattern. So I've got a stamping plate that has a pretty funky pattern. Even though it's not the same pattern that the wings make, it's still a neat pattern. And so we're gonna, do you have the cream puff, the Vinylux one? Oh, nope, it's here, just kidding. I found it. No, not yet. I'll do them both at the same time. I'm going to take this, and when you're stamping with Vinylux, the trick is to stamp super quickly because it dries really fast. So I'm going to put a nice little generous coating onto the plate, flick it off, pick it up, set it on the nail. Oh my God. So now we've got our design. I got a little bit of design that I didn't want, so I'm just going to take a brush and quick knock it off. So yeah, it helps if you use the brush that removes nail polish. Oops. Really? This is what happens when you Facebook Live, everything goes wrong. It's like, what was I doing? Oh yeah. There we go. I'm going to top coat that. soon as that little bit of Scrub Fresh dries so that it doesn't make bubbles. There we go. What if we take out the fuzzies? Vinyl X dries so fast. As soon as you finish stamping all the nails, you can top coat it.
So you need to stamp with Vinyl X?
You don't need to, I just like to, because it's so fast.
Yeah. So if you
Most nail polishes are going to stamp.
the same thing.
I just like stamping with Vinyl X because it dries so quickly, I don't have to worry about it. So if I'm just doing 2 nails because they're accent nails, I still don't have to worry about it being dry, like it's dry.
Yeah.
We're going to cure that, and then I'll show you how to do the sugaring trick. Because the bird's feathers have a visual texture on their own, even in addition to the color. If you look really close, you can see kind of the texture of the feather itself. So by having a design stamped, because I am drawing challenged, I have a pattern that I can follow. Alright. I'm going to flip the stamping plate over and use it as a palette. Get some cream puff. And I think these lines are going to be the easiest to follow with the detail brush, because they're pretty tight together. And make sure he's nice and clean. Grab some polish. The trick when you're going to be tracing fine lines is to clean your brush off really well so that there's not a huge blob of polish on your brush. And I'm just going to trace part of these, not all of them. I think the sugaring effect looks really cool when it's on a small bit of a larger design. And this brush is actually a little too big, so I'm going to switch to the striping brush. I'm literally just tracing part of the stamp. And you want to make sure that you top coat the design before you do this, because we're not going to top coat the sugaring effect. Get just a couple more swipes. And the trick to a skinny line with a striping brush is to barely use any pressure with the brush. Okay. Once you have the part of the design traced that you want to do the sugaring, take the powder that you want to use. In this case, I'm just using Retention Plus powder, the clear, because the clear is super clear. And just use a spatula or whatnot and sprinkle it onto the shellac before you cure it. Let it sit for just a second so that it absorbs into the shellac. Knock the extra off and do one more coat of powder.
Kind of looks like it takes velvet wallpaper.
Exactly. Let it sit for just a second and it will feel like velvet when it's finished.
Yeah.
knock it off, and then we're gonna cure that.
So can you get that sugar from C&D?
Yeah, this is just liquid and powder. It's
Oh,
just the
okay.
powder.
Oh.
So it's just a retention plus powder because the clear is really clear. It doesn't alter the coloration of my design at all.
Mhm.
When that comes out, we're actually going to swipe it off with alcohol, believe it or not. And that will remove any sticky layer. That's not good. Is there a little pad in there? Mm-hmm. Yep, that's perfect. Just grab the whole bag. Yep, thank you. Do you have questions about that?
No, just looking at.
It's a really fun technique. Lauren Wireman does a lot of videos on it. I'm not sure who else has done it. She's the main one that I've seen. John Wynn did one in class in Orlando that was awesome. You just take your alcohol and clean it off. And then you can feel the texture.
Wow. Yeah.
And then you also have that contrast of matte and shiny.
It's real cool.
Make sure you guys can see it. Turn. All right. Here's the first one. All cured up. So that is 2 designs. I'll show you guys the original inspiration again. Using this gorgeous bird for inspiration. And that's how you use your nail eyes.